Welcome everyone. Today I would like to introduce a very good friend of mine, Kyra, based in Dubai. She's a spiritual coach and an energy healer. I've known her for a couple of months now, and I was keen to do some interview with her just to get to know her better and introduce her to all the audiences who are watching my video. So welcome, Kyra, to my platform. It's lovely to
Thank
have
you
you.
so much for having me. Yeah, it's been an honor to be asked to do this
I
interview, and
know.
this is
I know. So this is something that is on my mind, and I'm trying to, reach out to as many fellow therapists and healers as possible, and allow people to get to know them, and that we are here. People like us are
thank
here.
you
We are in
so much.
abundance, and that's the purpose of us and being here. So just tell me about your background, Kira, your country of origin, your family, your background, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah. So, Kyra, I'm from the Netherlands, and I've been in Dubai about a little bit over 7 years now.
Hmm.
My background when it comes to, well, a professional background before what I used to do is marketing. So I worked in conferences and events, and now I have been working as a spiritual therapist,
Hmm.
coaching people and doing healings and readings since February last year.
Hmm.
Um, my healing journey has been a little bit longer before that, or my development. And I would say, as a teen, I would have interest in dreams, in crystals, things like that. And I remember still we had this area back home in the Netherlands, which was like a sports hall, and it
Hmm.
wasn't necessarily something that I would go to very often. But even then, it was like, like divinely orchestrated or guided. And I think most of my life has been like that with just my
Wow.
spiritual development,
Hmm.
where I was guided there, and there was a little note on the community board,
Hmm.
and it said lessons for tarot. And I was interested in spirituality, and tarot, yeah, was definitely one of the things that
Ah,
had
okay.
sparked
So you
my
began with
interest.
tarot first.
So I began with tarot. Yeah. So
Wow.
officially, before the interest and everything, it's also um, for me, like I said, it's been a series of coincidences of
Hmm.
being at certain places at the right time.
Hmm.
Um, and and for some people, they say, "Oh, I was born with it," or
Yeah.
ever since
Yeah.
a child, I saw ghosts or spirits. I never had any of that.
Hmm. Hmm.
In hindsight, I do think I was sensitive,
Hmm.
and that I probably picked up on things in my room, but I never, was able to see anything or anything like that. So it's
Hmm.
really gradually grew, and I
Yeah.
developed, and I did tarot for um, 2 years.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and that was like 11 classes each. And then when I went to university, I attended workshops in intuitive development, and that has really
Hmm.
gotten, um, like, I really loved doing that. So that
Hmm.
was a first course, and then a second course to develop, to understand chakras. What are they? How do you work with them? All those types of things. So
Wow.
it's really, really fascinating. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was kind of the start of it all. And it only went downhill from there. Yeah, so it's been, like I said, coincidences and
Hmm.
meeting people on my commute to work from where I used to live to Amsterdam, and then that person was
Hmm.
spiritual, and then I lost contact with them, and then I ran into them again, and then they
Hmm.
introduced me to someone, and it's
Hmm.
really like that kind of yeah, following gut feelings of wanting
Right.
to talk to
So
people to
the life
actually.
circumstances probably led you to where you are right now.
Yeah.
Did you felt at any point of time that there were things you needed to heal, or you wanted to question? There were questions that were unanswered, and you had this quest to know more. Was it like that, or was it just coincidence?
Well, there's always been a curiosity. So
Hmm.
there's this internal feeling of wanting to learn more and really
Yeah.
being interested by the subject.
Hmm.
It's that eagerness to develop. But yeah, I mean, healing is everything, you know. It's like, I was speaking to someone earlier today, and she was describing to me how she was just started psychotherapy. And I have nothing against psychotherapy, don't get me wrong, like it's amazing practice, and
Yeah.
I know I work, you know, with myself, you know. I think healers go through very difficult situations in their lives as well, where they need to
True.
be dragged out of. And I've done psychotherapy, and it really helped me put
Hmm.
things in a different perspective.
Hmm.
But at the same time, she was discussing how things with her father still influenced her. And I'm like, okay, well, you can do the psychotherapy, but at the same time, you know, if you do the healing part of it, that
Hmm.
will also make really significant
Hmm.
differences, or really make a difference
Hmm.
in just, yeah, the unity with yourself is what I'd like to say,
Yeah.
and stability.
Does that mean
And
healing is all about, how would you define
for
healing from your perspective?
for me, it's all about inner stability.
Hmm.
Um, the less we get influenced by things on the outside,
Yeah.
the stronger we are, the better we can cope, the
Hmm.
easier life is.
True.
And I think this is one of the things that sometimes people forget. Then they're like, oh, healing is all about learning modalities,
Hmm.
or learning how to be a healer. Let me put it like that. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily healing, because if I receive a healing from someone else, then it's definitely
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
make me stronger, or yeah, more myself. But when it comes to all of the different practices, this is the one thing that I sometimes miss,
Hmm.
where people don't realize, like, oh, actually, you know, there are so many tricks I can learn, but if you don't have that inner stability, if you're not like,
Yeah.
you know,
Aligned.
tree,
Hmm.
yeah, aligned, then you're going to be swayed, and you're still going to be involved in lots of, you know,
Hmm.
I call them Kermit the Frog moments, you know, um,
Yeah.
and then it's very difficult to then really stay grounded,
Hmm.
and do healings for other people.
Right.
Um, yeah, and when it comes to receiving healings, I know for me, um, you know, I still need healing sometimes when I do feel that I've given too much in a session, or
Right.
you're overwhelmed. It's becoming less and less.
Hmm.
At the same time, you know, and sometimes it's also just interesting to see what dynamics are moving or changing when you do a healing, or you do, you know, like I've done
Hmm.
that beautiful
Hmm.
family constellation with you. So,
Yeah.
and see how things shift, how things moved. I did a healing for my mother last week,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I could really feel things shifting within me. I was like,
Exactly. That's the beauty
interesting.
of healing. When you heal yourself,
Absolutely. Yeah,
something changes in the environment. Something changes with the people who are close to you.
exactly. Yeah, and it's just, you know, optimizing your energies, and making sure that you're in the
Hmm.
exact, like the right
Hmm.
energetic state
Right.
for whatever life is throwing at you.
Hmm.
And I'll take Corona for example. You
Hmm.
know, it's been very tough for lots of different people, because they're being faced with the outside world, which
Hmm.
is not energetically flowing, easy
Yeah.
going kind of
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the internal stuff, and
Hmm.
dealing practically with, for example, kids at home and homeschooling. So, you know, it's a very overwhelming time at the moment for lots of people.
Yes.
And and I want to also stress today, that's okay. You're not
Hmm.
the only one who's going through a bit of
Yes.
overwhelm.
Hmm.
And you know, even if you're watching this interview in a couple months, um, there might be something else that's been overwhelming. And then you
Because
think
such is
back to,
life. Yeah, such is life. We are in this earth school where things will be going up and down. There will be challenges, but we have to learn how to deal with those challenges. That's
yeah.
why we're here. So how do you see this pandemic, since we are talking about the current situations? How do you see it spiritually?
Huh. I think I think a lot of, well, a lot of things are moving to teach us about certain processes, to open the eyes of lots of people to see what's really going on, who's really influencing what. At the same time, you know, to look at, like I said, the internal processes. What are things that we've been taught when we were younger that we now need to actually break away from? And, you know, most importantly, probably the role of the media of like, you know, like how are things really? And then it helps us discern more on an intuitive level.
Exactly.
Of like, you know, what feels right, what doesn't feel right. And I hear a lot of people also talk about these things of like, you know, like, I don't know, but something feels off. And I heard it on the radio actually in my home country today where they were talking about, well, vaccines. They were like, well, I'm not sure, but something really doesn't feel right. And it's like something is being woken up. And I know lots of people are talking about the transformation from
the shifts.
From 3D to 5D. Now, I don't know if I would really pull it like a super transformation globally, and we're gonna. But at the same time, I do feel this is just the beginning.
Same here.
And I do feel in the next couple of years there will be more things like this. And I'm also using this time to discern, where do I want to be? You know, is how are different countries, different governments handling different things?
Exactly.
And what resonates, where, you know, things you know, handled in the correct way, or where does it feel right? You know, there's restrictions, and how do they are a bit more flexible with them? And you know, it's really it's really eye-opening, and at the same time, it's not easy because it's such
I think it's all about how people are taking this at different levels. So, I mean, what I'm saying is that it's a time of introspection. You know, it's something that people need to go within and contemplate where they are, you know, shortcomings, what they can do better for their lives and for the people who are, you know, associated with them. How you can make your lives better, how you can make your communities better, how can you be of service to others. You know, there's a lot of introspection that needs to happen for things to improve overall. So because we are in this together, this is a collective purge, I would say, that's happening.
Totally.
And it will take some time before it settles down.
No, definitely. And the other thing is, you know, what I'm hoping that this will also do is, like I was speaking about the patterns, that people will see their patterns of thinking, and that they'll also challenge it a little bit. There was also, at some point, there was a lot of negativity going on. And there were a lot of people like looking out and checking and seeing, what are they doing? What are they doing? And then this immediate what do you call it, opinion about it, right? Like, like this is wrong, like a teacher, you know, scolding you.
A lot of criticism was happening.
And a lot of and I think you know, there was that time, but then there was also, after like a week or 2 weeks, this counter shift of people saying, I'm done with you know, all this negativity, can we please just focus on the positive? And I hope that there's also been just an understanding of people, like, look, we can choose to stay in this bubble of blaming other people and judgment, or we can choose to to look at things more positive, and letting people just take, like, free to take decisions that are right for them. And all that judging, and I think that's also an interesting movement, and you know, when we look at from that bird's eye view of what's been happening. But
I think a lot of shift may happen, which is already happening in the process. Maybe we can't see it. But it's happening at a very deep level now.
I feel things, I don't know about other countries, but I do feel in Dubai things have really started to move and change ever since the solstice on the 21st of June. We had that solar eclipse. Things have really changed and shifted for the positive, and we have a better outlook on things. You know, we're okay in spending again. And the other positive thing that I would like to mention, what I do like, is that people on Facebook groups are now saying, I'd like to spend on small businesses. Can you recommend a small business for the rather recommend get a recommendation for someone from this group? Or it's a lot, because the fear was that all of the smaller businesses would be drowned in everything that's going on.
Yes, there was a news a few months ago. Yeah,
a lot of support for people.
I think a lot of compassion is developing, which is beautiful.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. But like I said, it's also not an easy process for everyone, and some people have struggled or do struggle, and it it shouldn't be one shouldn't be ashamed to admit. Like I also had lots of difficulties in those 3 weeks of lockdown. I was really struggling, and I had to ask my teacher to also give me a kick up the bum to push me out of it.
Yeah, everything became very uncertain all of a sudden.
And then you feel it in the air. Like there have been a couple of moments here in Dubai that I could really feel it. It was in the 3 weeks. And then it was again when all the layoffs for Emirates happened. You could really, it was tangible, the tension in the air of the fear. And people not always realize how subconsciously you pick up on all of that. And then they thought, like in a spiral, perhaps going down and not understanding that they actually might need a healing or a reading in that sense. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So tell me, what is that piece of wisdom, a word of wisdom, or an affirmation that comes to your mind when you are facing something which is challenging? Let's say, the first 3 weeks of lockdown or whatever uncertainty happened. So what is that piece of wisdom? It just comes into your awareness, that affirmation which you keep repeating. I mean, how do you deal with the situation when it's challenging?
Yeah, I have my favorite affirmation. That is, so what?
That is so?
So what? So what? Yeah. So if I have an emotion that's bringing me down, so what? If I feel amazing and I can take on the world, also, so what?
So what? Yeah.
It's
That's
just
so brief.
Yeah, it is.
To the point. Yeah. So what if it's happening? What else is possible? Yeah.
Exactly. And I have a post-it on my mirror in my bathroom, and I just put "so what," because it reinforces that stability, that energetic core that we have, or that inner light that vibrates and is just very strong light of like, we don't get swayed by all these different things. So what? This is happening. It's this too shall pass. A little bit like that.
True.
And at the same time, it doesn't negate the emotion. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I'm pushing it away, or I need to
deal with it. It's there.
Yeah, I acknowledge it. It's there. But so what? It's there, and it also makes me not dwell, right? Because dwelling in an emotion is what makes it difficult. Exactly. But when I can accept it for what it is, and then say, okay, I'm feeling this now. So what? Then it makes it, just a bit lighter.
Yeah, a bit lighter, and you're able to cope up with whatever situation comes up. Wow, that's a good giveaway to our audience. I mean, they'll be able to pick up from it. I learned something new from you today as well. It's just a short phrase. So what?
Yeah, so what? And I think it's just this kind of breath, like it's okay.
It's okay. I had one more question to ask you, which was basically to be asked towards the beginning, but then we got drifted towards the pandemic situation. You were in a corporate environment. You were working as, What prompted you to just leave it and begin this journey last year?
Well, this is interesting.
You were there for a very long time, I remember.
Yeah, no, because I was just thinking, like, I should tell this story, as I didn't know what your question was going to be, because I want to also stress in today's interview how important it has been, and it is, I believe, for everyone to really follow small gut feelings.
Exactly. That's so true. Mm.
Because without my gut guiding me, I would have never done different things. So, as a quick version of the long story, I went to Dubai. I came to Dubai 7 years ago, and 2 years in, or one month, 1.5 years in, I realized that the relationship I was in back home, we were together for 10 years, but it wasn't working. So I didn't feel understood. I feel like I had gone through major spiritual changes here on my own because he hadn't joined me. And I just felt like there was something inside me that told me this isn't right. Like, if you want to walk a spiritual path, you can't do it with a partner who doesn't get it, who doesn't get spirituality.
It doesn't work, yeah.
With the man, he was, like, super funny, super caring, tall, dark, and like, he was really, on paper, he was amazing. But there was something inside me that told me, if you want to walk your spiritual path, he's not the guy for you. And I ended things, and I came back to Dubai, and I was seeing little signs for Japan. On the metro, Osaka, Japan. I got a random spam email, Osaka, Japan, or Okinawa, Japan. So I went to Japan, and I did some healing there. And after Japan, I again followed my gut feeling. What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? And I ended up feeling strongly I wanted to go to Nepal. So I went to Nepal, and I joined a retreat. And in the moment, in the morning, one morning in the retreat, I think it was the third or the fourth day, we were in meditation. And we were supposed to be in the center of the universe and moving and shaking, and it wasn't resonating with me. So I took a few steps back, and I visualized myself sitting on a cloud. And then an angel or guardian spirit came and sat next to me in my visualization. And my guardian spirit said, "When are you finally going to start your spiritual work?"
Oh, wow.
And I said, like, I don't even know where to start. What do I do?
What do I tell them?
And he said to me, "Just start, and we'll take care of the rest." And I was like, okay. 1 hour later, we finished the meditation, and we were just discussing the afternoon program. The earthquake hit. And we were all trapped in that horrible earthquake in Nepal for a couple of days. But I was like, I'm not going to die, because my spirit guide just told me that I need to start my own spiritual work. So I said, all right, I'm going to get out of here, and I'm going to go home. And I went home, and I remembered that message, because I'm sure that if that earthquake hadn't happened, that message would have installed so much in me. And it was like everything got shaken, and all of my old stuff that would have been holding me back got released by me. And I went home, and I remembered the message. So I went to the Chamber of Commerce. It's a little bit different from Dubai, because there you could sign up your business for about 200 pounds, about 50 euro and $50. And I signed up my business, and I put it on my Facebook. And then the organization that I did the retreat with asked me if I wanted to come and work for them.
Oh, wow.
So it was a beautiful coincidence.
Exactly.
I really listened to. So like that really started. So I worked for the center for a while. Then I went back into marketing to make enough money to start my own business. Because I feel, I still feel, but back then I felt I just wanted to make it my own. Like with energy, with my rules, with my ways of handling things. That way people can also connect to me. It's not like it's an organization. No, you come and you see me, and you get you get what you see.
One man show. It's one man show, yeah.
And then I can build and put all the money, all of the energy and all of the
Yes.
intention, and
Mm.
making sure that I'm stable and I'm strong enough to do proper healings and insightful readings. So yeah, it's been an interesting journey of like these coincidences, but to anyone who's watching, I would really say, you know, trust those coincidences. If things repeat themselves, you know, like I had that Osaka, Japan, and I had this spam mail randomly coming into my work mail where I never received spam. Songs on the radio that reminded me of that of of that country. So I was like, I have to go there, and I
Yeah.
have to do
You
healing
get
there.
those subtle messages from the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
when things are beginning to shift, or you know, you do get those messages. Some people perhaps they miss them out, they ignore them, or they just let them pass.
Yeah, and ask for them. Yeah, if you want to get a message, then ask. I want to see, like a friend of mine asked, if this is right for me, I want to see a big red sign, huge red sign.
Wow.
And then she ended up parking somewhere, and there were 5 red cars parked next to each other. And she was like, well, there's no sign. So, you know, as random as it might sound, there's lots of, yeah, there's so many
ways of
guidance. And no, please don't neglect them or think or brush them aside. No, look for them and receive them openly and yeah, with an open heart. And then when your gut feeling, you know, your gut will tell you whether it's a sign or not. Don't doubt it.
Exactly.
And it's just, you know, like these random coincidences have really made my life, you know, so much richer, I'd say, you know, and just positivity coming my way. And like I said, you know, there'll always be things that are difficult in everybody's life, but about resilience, you know, and stability in those moments. And trust me, I'm a Pisces sun and moon, so I'm as emotional as one can get almost. So, you know, I know how it works, but yeah, it's just trusting those signs and those feelings. And then they can really lead you to wondrous places. Absolutely.
Do you think, Kyra, anybody can be intuitive?
Absolutely. Yeah, we all have a natural, you know, like there might be things that come easier for others. Sometimes that's because of a past life, or sometimes that's because of DNA or things being passed down the family line. But I do believe everyone has an intuition. Everyone can learn how to connect with their spirituality. You know, like I said, there might be different things that resonate for different people. Like for me, it's definitely the cards. For me, it's definitely shamanism. I love working with the energy of the earth, of the land, of spirit. But you know, I'm also developing my mediumship now again. So
I think you do offer some trainings in intuition development. Would you like to talk about it so that our audience
so I do. So the way that I learned my intuitive development, it's back home they call it like a circle. So you get together once a month and you practice through meditation, through practicing with the people in the group. I do it every 2 weeks here in Dubai on Monday evenings. Well, now hopefully we can do the events again soon, because I would be here at home, because the energy is very protected.
Things are beginning to get back to normal.
Yeah. So yeah, I do all of those things, and yeah, like I said, you know, everyone has a third eye chakra right here, so you know, everyone can learn how to open it and view and work with their intuition.
So one has to be open to becoming intuitive or becoming spiritual. It's just a matter of choice, I guess.
Yeah, it's all intention. So if you're open, if you're interested, if you want to learn, then you can. Yeah, there's no, oh, you can't do it because, you know, you didn't see dead people when you were sixth sense, you know, like when you were a child. No, everyone can learn how to develop it, and like I said, it will come in different things. You know, some people feel, some people see, some people hear. So there's different clairs, as they call it. So clairvoyance, etc.
So how do you call yourself? What clair are you?
I would probably say my biggest clair is probably sentience. So feeling, a lot of it happens in my body.
Yeah, yeah.
Connect to a person. But I also, the cognizance, so the inner knowing.
Hmm.
Um, Viewing, sometimes I do get images. The ones that I need to still develop is the audience, so the hearing, and the sense of smell. Like smell is like still, I get that like once a month, but hardly ever.
Okay, that's so good.
Yeah.
So, Kyra, what kind of clients do you get mostly, and especially after the lockdown? What kind of people approach you, and for what issues?
Most people, and I would say mostly women,
Hmm.
but I do get men too, who just want to get an overview of what's going on. So I
Hmm.
use psychic and I use cards for that.
Hmm.
Um, Especially with, like people losing their jobs and things like that.
Hmm.
From a healing level, I mean, it's so, um, I would probably say mostly women, mostly Brits, because
Hmm.
they're quite used to
Hmm.
dealing with things. But I have a local guy that comes. I had a Filipino lady, though I don't get them very often, but I did have a beautiful, lovely soul come to me last week. Um, yeah, it's, I don't know, just everyone who's just struggling with, who
Yeah.
wants to get an outlook,
Yeah.
or quite into what's happening.
Hmm.
Obviously, um, yeah, or who struggle really with staying in their own power and
Hmm.
staying.
So, do you think the number has increased of people who are, seeking for answers, seeking for healings? Um,
I think there's always lots of people who are really wanting to kind of know what's going to
yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it's locals or expats or
Hmm.
from Asia or from South Africa, like,
Hmm.
there's a curiosity to see. I mean, now, in the sense, I do feel I'm doing more healings at the moment.
Hmm. Hmm.
And that could also be because I'm steering a little bit more
Hmm.
into that way. Okay, we could do a reading and then we'll do 20 minutes, but then afterwards, I'd love to put you on the
Yeah.
massage healing table, and
For a
let's
healing
just make
session.
sure
Yeah.
that the energy comes back. Because I feel, yeah, just, or I see what it does to people. I can
Hmm.
literally see the energy change.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's just everyone who's dealing with things from the past, like trauma, and it doesn't have to be big trauma. It can be, you wanted an ice cream when you were 3 and you've been nagging for 3 days and finally you got it and then you dropped it on the floor.
Yeah, that could be a trauma too.
We bring back that energy through the soul retrieval healing that I do,
Hmm.
from the shamanic background or practice. And I love it. Like,
Hmm.
just the way that I see people change. It's just been
Phenomenal.
amazing. Yeah, phenomenal. Yeah, absolutely
So,
phenomenal.
Kyra, how many sessions do you think they would need? So, if somebody, for example, has an anxiety or depression, because this is something in the air right now, how
It
many?
depends.
It depends, I
I
know. But for
I generally do one session and it makes a huge difference for people.
hmm, hmm,
But I do have people come in regularly, like every month or every other month,
hmm,
just to make sure that they are their best selves. If I
hmm,
speak for myself,
hmm.
I probably say I do a healing with my teacher every 2 months,
Yeah.
and then I'll do some upkeep myself.
Hmm, hmm,
Um, but like, this is the thing with me, I want people to feel it. I
hmm.
don't want to tell them what to do. I want them to feel it. Like, okay, like you can have a bad day and then you say, so what?
Yeah.
But if you have a bad week or about 10 days, then I say, okay, maybe come in for a checkup and
We'll see what needs to happen
yeah,
next.
exactly, or stabilization. I don't know if that's a word, but that we realign you.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, if you suffered proper huge trauma, um, 2 to 3 sessions, not
Yes.
more than that.
To
Like,
deal
that
with
should
it, to
already,
get over with it. Yeah.
yeah, it should make a huge shift. Like, unless you want to do it as upkeep,
Hmm.
but if you're doing it to fix something, not more than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, generally speaking.
Wow. So, It was lovely having you, Kyra. Thank you so much for your
Thank you
time.
so
I
much.
know you have a workshop after this, but it was lovely to catch up, even if it was brief. What's the last message that you would like to give to all the audiences that would be watching our video, especially during the pandemic situation, in terms of spirituality and healing?
Just trust your gut.
Hmm.
Just really, if something pops up into your mind a couple times, then know that it's your gut communicating with you, and trust what you get. I know sometimes our mind gets in the way.
Yeah.
If in moments that you're relaxing, so things pop up, trust them. So.
And you've been doing some meditations as well. I've been following them too. So after this video, you can post your link to your page, where people will be able to follow up with your regular meditations that you're conducting. I think you were doing that before, so it's something that we all started doing online after the lockdown.
Yeah, totally.
So it's
and I love doing it online. Like at first, it was a little bit like, but now, every Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Dubai time, Facebook Live. So I'll definitely
yes, you can post your I'll be uploading the video, and then you can put your page there as well for people to follow you.
Yeah, and please, the other thing I'd like to say is don't hesitate to reach out if you have a question, if you want to spar, if you, even if you're already a bit more advanced, if you're struggling with clearing, cleansing your energies, if you struggle with protecting yourself from the outside world, or if it's just a quick spiritual question that you have, or like a quick practice that you can start with spirituality, by all means, let me know, and I'll also include, if that's okay with you, the link.
Yes, absolutely.
For the website, my newsletters.
Yes.
So then, I do monthly
people will be aware of them. Yeah. And before we log off, I would also like to add that I will be conducting more discussions on different topics. Like, you are an energy healer and spiritual coach, so I may have different topics lined up in few weeks. So we can just get together and talk about them. What is energy? What are the chakras? How we can heal them? So it's better to create as much awareness as possible for the normal people who are not into this at all. So there's a lot happening in my area right now. Thank you so much for your time.
I bow down to you for
No, it was a pleasure, huge pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing more awareness into the world, and for doing you, and to find your place. Everyone has a uniqueness about them that we should be embracing, and yours. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much
for doing what you do, and thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you.
It was a pleasure having you on my platform.